It's going down. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Russia should not fear defensive NATO to the U.S. The United States is sending more troops to Europe because of Russian aggression, the White House insists. Russia should not regard additional NATO troops in Eastern Europe as a provocation, but a legitimate response to its aggression in Ukraine by a purely defensive alliance, the spokesman for the United States National Security Council, John Kirby, told reporters. Kirby was asked by Bloomberg to comment on the United States President Biden announcement on Wednesday that more troops will be sent to Poland, Romania, and the Baltic Seas, along with additional United States planes and ships being stationed elsewhere on the continent. There's no reason that Russian President Vladimir Putin needs to view any force of posture change on NATO's eastern flank as a provocation. NATO will be, always has been a defensive alliance, said Kirby. The reason we have to do this is because Mr. Putin has been destabilizing influence on the continent. Mr. Putin decided to invade a sovereign neighboring state. Mr. Putin is the one who is the aggressor, Kirby added. The retired U.S. Navy admiral who left his job as the Pentagon spokesman last month to move the White House also argued that while NATO wants to conflict the Ukraine to end, it's up to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to determine when and where and under what circumstances the negotiations can even begin. And Volodymyr Zelensky, this dude is no more than a puppet working for the Illuminati, okay? He's going to lead these people, he's going to lead those Ukrainian people right into an NWO. Okay, it's no coincidence that ever since Russia has been attacking Ukraine, that Ukraine is now becoming a technological city. Oh, is it becoming a cashless city as I speak? Zelensky is no more than an agent working for the Illuminati. Okay, that dude is a straight up actor. Okay? He ain't about the war life. He's just an actor working on the behalf of the Illuminati to forward their agenda. Okay? Zelensky ain't nothing but an Illuminati puppet. Meanwhile, NATO leaders have given Zelensky unconditional support to fight, not to negotiate. We make it very clear that this war can only be won on the battlefield, Belgian Prime Minister Alexander De Croo said on Wednesday. And if the conflict in Ukraine ends suddenly, you have to ask yourself, what's going on here? How does a war suddenly stop just like that? Well, all eyes is going to be on Zelensky, because 9 times out of 10, that little snake is up to no good. That's exactly what he is. He's a snake. Okay? Moscow has scoffed at NATO's claims that it's pointing to its track record over the past 2 decades, from the 1999 war against Yugoslavia to the 2011 regime change in Libya and the bombing of Syria in recent years. In futile attempts to justify their aggression against the sovereign states, the collective West had to come up with exotic concepts such as humanitarian intervention, war on terror, preventive strikes. Vasily Nebenzia, Russia's permanent representative to United Nations, told the UN Security Council earlier this month. Russia sent troops into Ukraine on February 24th, citing Kiev's failure to implement the Minsk agreements designed to give the regions of Donetsk and Lugansk special status within the Ukrainian state. The protocols, brokered by Germany and France, were first signed in 2014. Former Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has since admitted that Kiev's main goal was to use the ceasefire to buy time and create powerful armed forces. Right, speaking with a forked tongue. You see what I mean? But you see that's the book of Psalms, chapter 55, verse 21, all the way down to, no, chapter 55, verse 20, all the way down to 21, or to 22, because that's exactly what they do. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. But you see, there's nothing new under the sun. They was doing the exact same. You see, these Edomites, they was doing the exact same thing that which they were doing during the time of the Ptolemaic and the Seleucid Empire. You see, under the Seleucid and the Ptolemaic Empire, what was going on? There was a war going on between the two empires. Okay, there was a war going on between the Ptolemaic Empire and the Seleucid Empire, and there came a point to where they would make peace treaties with one another. But the only reason why the Seleucid Empire will make peace treaties with the Ptolemaic Empire, and the only reason why the Ptolemaic Empire will make peace treaties with the Seleucid Empire was what? So they can try to get one over on each other. Just so they could advance a war strategy over one another. So it's the exact same thing today. You know, because what is a ceasefire? A ceasefire is basically a peace treaty. That's a peace treaty. Like, look, we're not going to shoot at y'all, but y'all cannot shoot at us. So that's a peace treaty. But immediately that peace treaty was broken. Okay, because while this peace treaty was enacted, what was going on? You had one side making powerful armed forces. Now, why would you make a powerful armed forces for under a ceasefire? Because obviously your intent is to go right back to war and to advance or gain an advantage over your enemy. So these devils, they speak with forked tongues. In February 2022, the Kremlin recognized the Donbass Republic as independent states and demanded that Ukraine officially declare itself a neutral country that will never join any Western military bloc. Kiev insists the Russian offensive was completely unprovoked. There you go. And for the record, Russia does not want Ukraine to have anything to do with the United States or the West, period. Because they see what the United States do whenever they go into these other countries presenting their democracy. That country ends up being destroyed. Okay. Now let's get that in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6. These are the words of Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Matthew 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet. So we're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. Okay? We're hearing of wars and rumors of wars. You know, Russia should not fear defensive. You know, we're hearing about countries saying they're going to do this and that. If this was to happen, there's all kind of rumors of wars that are going out. You know, now we're hearing about the United States sending more troops to respond against Russian aggression in Ukraine. It's just one thing after another. But with that, I'm gonna say shalom. Is on to the next one.